Okay. Biggest match of the World Cup?
Yeah, we have played quite a few. I think each and every game was important. As I said, Bangladesh was the most important to start off, especially if you remember the 2007 World Cup. So I think each and every game has its own importance. So it's another big one for us.
Yes, in front row.
In a way, it's a good thing that you are playing two big matches and then thinking about the knockout stage. In a way, it's a blessing.
I think so, because we have already qualified for the next leg of the tournament. So, playing two big games against good sides, you want to get a bit of momentum on your side. Though you have to play well on each and every game, and it's a fresh start every day. But still, it's going to slowly. The intensity will go up, and you have to be at your best right from now on. Just that you have the liberty of having two extra games on your side.
Two questions. I thought lost here, but either is batting or bowling. Some little problem areas have been seen. As captain, how do you intend to address these issues? Number two, you don't look like, but do you feel some kind of pressure? I mean, given the mounting expectations and all that.
Well, again, one of the reasons, especially the second answer first, I think what's important is to think about the process and not about the expectation. We all know what is expected out of us, but what's important is how we can perform to the potential that we have got. And definitely, I think not thinking about the expectation is one way of doing it, and thinking about the process and how we're preparing for the game is the other way. You can really achieve your target. So I'm not thinking about anything else apart from what we need to do on the field, where we need to improve, and what are the things that we especially need to address before a big game. And as far as the skill area is concerned, we had a tie game. We had two good run chases at the same time. But what's important is in the last 4 games, we have batted first and we have chased scores. We have played on good wickets, and at the same time we have played on slower tracks, which means we have got a fair amount of exposure as to what we may get in the coming games, depending on the venue. So I can only say the first 4 games have been really good for us when it comes to getting into the groove and being ready for the next leg of the tournament.
Yes, in the third row. Just in the third row first. Then Anjali.
Your overall record in this particular venue in one day cricket is extremely good. How that helps for the game as a batsman? Secondly, at the start of the tournament, you have given a lot of emphasis on the part-time bowlers. Now they all of a sudden they are performing very well. So does this certainly add to your confidence before the game?
The first was regarding the opener's contribution. First question.
So the first one, your record overall in this particular ground is extremely good.
Records is one thing, but I always say you have to be at your best on that particular day. So, irrespective of whether I have scored 0 runs or 50 runs in the last game or at the same venue, what is important is how I or anyone else, shapes up that, for that particular game. And what was the second question? Part-timers. Yes. So far it has been really good. Yuvraj has done a really good job. Yusuf is more of, I won't really call him a part-timer, but I won't put the pressure on him saying that he's our lead spinner at the same time. But whatever opportunity he has got, he has done well. Which means, if some bowler has an off day, you have someone who can come in and chip in with 5 or 6 overs or maybe more depending on the condition. So it gives you that liberty of saying, okay, even if somebody has a bad day, you have the talent in the side where you can go away with the 50 overs and still not give too many runs to the opposition.
Mahi, this is a wicket that has favoured the seamers. Would that probably shape your strategy in terms of wanting to play maybe an extra seamer over a spin?
Well, it will be a thought, because what we have seen is this is among the better tracks in India. Better in the sense there's a bit more bounce for the fast bowlers. What we have seen is not extraordinary swing or seam movement for the seamers. Maybe with the new ball there's something extra. But as the game progresses, we have seen it has got fair amount of curve for the spinners also. So we'll have a look at the wicket, how it looks, whether it's too dry or not, and accordingly we'll just decide to that.
My first is, what is the fitness support of the team? And secondly, there's lots of talk going on about R. Ashwin not in the team, and you always use Chawla as your first preference of spinners. And you, the other day in the Delhi match, you said Ashwin is mentally tough. So what does that mean? Will you get an opportunity when there's a tough match?
Well, fitness, I think every player is available for selection. That's a big bonus for us. And you always, what you need to assess is, who needs the game more, because I think, Piyush Chawla have been applauded a lot by the media and other people in the other way. So, I felt he needed to play that game, because he needed to get his confidence back a bit, because he's still a youngster, he's still 22, 23 years of age. which means he'll be feeling the pressure. He has not played in the subcontinent, or in fact he's been part of the side after a long time. So it's more of a mental battle, and at the end of the day, I want each and every member of the squad to be available throughout the tournament, which means you have to be mentally at your best also. And I think Piyush earned a lot out of that particular game.
But so does it apply? It applies to Ashwin as well. He's also
yes, of course, but he's not battling that phase what Piyush is battling right now. And what I've seen of Ashwin, I've played with him, I've led him in the Chennai Super Kings in the last 3 seasons, and whatever ODI he has played under me, he is a mentally tough character. He works a lot on his bowling and the variations that he has got. So I've always felt he's a bit different. People are very different when it comes to the mental toughness level, but he looks quite mature in that way.
बस विकेट बैंगलोर सॉरी वेदर बैंगलोर के मुकाबले काफ़ी यहाँ पर चेंज है, तो टीम कॉम्बिनेशन के हिसाब से किस तरीके से इफेक्ट करता है, और यहाँ पर देखा जाए कि अपनी जगह रिकॉर्ड भी अच्छा है, तो टॉस क्रूशियल होगा?
वेल अभी तक तो वेदर का प्लेइंग लेवल पे ऐसा कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, बट as far as toss is concerned, it's beyond anyone's control. So I don't know how it will affect the game. I don't exactly know whether DO is happening over this part of the country or not. And at the same time, a lot depends on the kind of wicket, which I have not seen straight away. I come for the PC.
The last 4 games, you said that the innings have been good for the Indians, and the team is sort of very towards where you hope that they'll peak at the right time. Going by your experience and the fact that you are involved in much shorter competition for 2020, what does it take for the team to reach the peak? What as a team member, you pick up a sign that the team is actually getting better, it's reaching its optimum?
Well, you see, the on the field performance and the intensity is one key thing. As you get into the groove, what you see is the intensity picks up, and as you play the better sides in the tournament, intensity really matters, and intensity very often is mistaken as going up to the batsman and saying things to him. But it's not about that. It's the body language, the way with which you're feeling, the amount of effort you're putting in, and how you're actually helping each other. Rather than just saying things to the batsman, which I feel at times is not heard by the batsman, because if 50,000 people are screaming in the stadium, there's not much to listen to. So I think these are all the other things that really reflect, what kind of a position you are in the tournament.
And you think that you're seeing good signs with your team that's around you?
Sorry?
You're seeing good signs?
Well, of course, we are seeing signs of improvement on the field, which is a big positive. And hopefully, as the tournament progresses, we should be improving a lot over the period of time. And nothing can really get better if we are doing that.
In the Delhi match, you said that no order was not required to come into action. Except for the Bangladesh match, we haven't seen much partnership ball with the top order. That's one. And secondly, you just said that it's very important that mentally at their best, that's what Piyush Chawla should be. But for Harbhajan Singh, who's a pro, but still, and Chawla as well is facing a lot of criticism, how have you been actually coming up to them and saying it's not easy to explain to them what's the situation?
Well, when it comes to Harbhajan, you don't need to talk to him much. Not to forget, he's part of the Indian team for the last decade now, maybe over 10 years. So he's fairly experienced. He knows, when you are the front runner, when you are the big player of the side, much is expected of you. And often it means, getting 2 to 4 wickets in each game. But it gets difficult. It's not always easy. He's doing his job. If the batsmen are not willing to take risk, what he's done is stopping the opposition from scoring runs, breaking the momentum, which is important, which helps the bowlers from the other side, against whom maybe the opposition may look to score runs, they can get them out. So till the role and responsibilities are fulfilled, I'm not really worried about who's getting wickets and who's stopping the opposition from scoring runs. Well, the opening partnership, if our openers can play for as long as possible, it will be good for us, because what we have seen is, both Sachin and Vido, if they get going, it gets very difficult to stop them. We have just played 4 games. Most of it, you can say, we have not got very big partnerships. But what is important is the way we have got the amount of runs that we have, because we rely on momentum when it comes to the batting department. If we get off to a good start, either from momentum point of view or from period point of view, what we have seen is our lower order, they can really cash in on the kind of platform that's provided to us. So we're just hoping in the coming games, if we have slightly longer opening partnership, which means the explosive power in the middle order and the lower middle order can be used more in the positive way.
माही दो सवाल है आपसे। पहला सवाल ये है कि आपका बीसीए में रिकॉर्ड बहुत अच्छा है, 200 से बैक टू बैक, वो भी जब आप ऊपर आके आपने बैटिंग की थी, तो इस बार भी ऐसा कुछ प्लान है कि इस बार आप ऊपर आके बैटिंग करेंगे? दूसरा, बड़े मैच से पहले टीम के जितने सीनियर प्लेयर्स हैं, खासतौर पर सचिन, किस तरह मोटिवेट कर रहे हैं आपकी टीम को?
Everyone is motivated, let's not put pressure on only one individual to motivate the side. When you're playing for your country, you don't need somebody to motivate you. Everybody is quite motivated, especially it's a big tournament in the World Cup happening in India. Everybody is up and ready for it. So I don't think motivation is a factor. And about the record at VCA, and me backing up the order, what you have to see is, which slot actually helps the individual perform to his best potential. And if you see the batting order more often than not, you'll see Gautam batting at 3. Again, Virat is a guy who's ideally suited for the number 4 slot, unless we get off to a very good partnership and we decide to either promote Yuvraj Singh, myself, or Yusuf Pathan to accelerate. So in a normal game, it will be quite difficult to find me batting on top of the order, but it depends if we are batting first or if we get off to a very good start, then you may see some of the lower order or lower middle order batsmen come up and look to accelerate.
MS, 3 days back it was in Delhi, and then after the initial training schedule of your team had to be postponed. Any specific reason why your team has not been able to stick to the initial schedule?
Well, we want to be comfortable, and I'm sorry that your schedule has been affected because of that. But so much hype has been created, so we're trying to just do it in the best possible manner where nobody gets affected. I think that's one of the main reasons, because ideally it's suited, second half you practice and you have the whole next day off and at the same time play the game. So I think it's an ideal scenario for us to practice in second half.
Skipper, left-arm spinners have done well in this tournament. Somewhere, are you tempted to play Yuvraj as a specialist second spinner in the team? Why can you do that?
That will be quite difficult because, as of now we're playing with 4 bowlers, 2-2 or 3-1, whatever you can say. And, Yu is doing a good job for us, but still to say, okay, he'll always give you 10 overs. He didn't bowl 10 overs against England. And if you're playing with 3-1 or a combination where you want to accommodate one more batsman, and if Yuvraj has a bad day, all of a sudden you won't have many bowlers who can do the job, because this is not the side where you still have Raina who can bowl off spin, or Virender Sehwag who can continuously bowl spin bowling. So that's one of the main reasons why I prefer being on the safer side rather than experimenting too much.
Mahi, you spoke about Harbhajan. Do you think Bhaji, despite all the experience, maybe the lack of wickets is making him try a bit too hard? Secondly, the absence of any pressure from the other end is also making the job tougher for him.
I think there's not enough pressure from the batsman. What we have seen is the more pressure the batsman puts on Bhaji, the better he bowls. So that's one of the reasons. And when you are a batsman or a bowler, the one thing that you like is the scorecard to reflect your performance. And often in India, performance means getting a 50 or 100, taking at least 3 wickets or 5 wickets, which at times can be very difficult. But not to forget the role of a bowler who restricts the opposition, because if I have 2 bowlers who are giving 70 runs in 20 overs, I would be quite happy with them even if they don't get wickets, because ultimately the pressure turns onto the batsman to score runs in today's format.
Okay, last 3 questions here, and side. So.
MS, where is the famous Mahi style?
Well, so many questions, it's difficult to smile.
Okay, so are you trying to say you told in your in the start of this conference, you told when you opted for Piyush Chandra because you thought there was too much of media ridicule going behind the decision, and is that something which is going in your mind while you're taking the decision, while you're picking your teams? Is that something bothering you?
Not really, because what others say, I'm not that much bothered about them. I need to realize what's best for the side and how honest I am in taking a decision, and that's what really matters, because from outside you know the strengths, you may not know the weaknesses to the fullest extent. What you see on paper maybe what is completely different on the field. So being the captain or being member of the squad, you know the strengths very well, and at the same time you make the weaknesses also. So when you're attacking someone, you need to know, okay, this is the force from outside, but you need to get the weak links, in the way where it's not your weak links as the tournament progresses.
Thanks, and we want to smile back. I think all of India wants it.
Next time, don't ask a question, I'll smile.
मैंने इस बात है इस पिच पर जब भी हमने भी देखा रफ्तार भी है, बाउंस भी है, खासतौर पे जब सलामी जोड़ी बहुत ज़्यादा रन नहीं जोड़ पा रही है स्कोर बोर्ड पर, ऐसे में डेल स्टेन का खतरा कितना बड़ा मानते हैं?
फिर देखते हैं, अब खतरा तो सबसे ही है, सिर्फ डेल स्टेन की बात नहीं है, जितने भी बॉलर्स हैं सामने वाली टीम में, ऑल ऑफ देम आर talented to get the batsman out, and you have to be at your best. That's what I have to say.
Okay, last question.
Okay, Malik, even though it's not desirable to think about it at this point of time, but to enhance your fielding, deep down in terms of long-term perspective, you feel that there is a need of a fielding coach?
Need of